Wow, it says I'm alive. Am I? Am I alive? Let's see here. Go to live. What's it say? All right. Who are my top fans? Okay. All right. Sorry I did that while you were, but no, I'm not. I'm just mean, miserable today. I did on my other video, and I don't want to do this. Go over everything again. All the horrible things that happened this weekend. 2 weeks before Christmas, and you've got all this horrible crap going on. It's. I don't know what to tell you, people. It's disgusting. Um, the people that were injured, the people that were killed, young, old. I mean, you go from a 10-year-old, I think was the youngest one I read about so far, to a Holocaust survivor, somebody from World War II. That's just wow. What do you do? I used to think that, and I'm not, that the same news happened 50 years, 60 years ago when I was when I was around 10 or 15 years old in school and whatnot. I told them about a shooting that happened and never made the newspapers and everything like that. That's not the only one. Okay. That's just one that I heard about. There are others that I can't talk about for various reasons. But I don't want to talk to them for various reasons. That sounds better. That this is uh, things just aren't going right. You got really shitty political leader. Our country, our world is destined for destruction soon or something, because we've got all these nasty friggin' people hanging out. And look at Lucy. She sleeps all day now. She doesn't want to be bothered by this stuff. Right? Are you sleeping? Yeah, you're sleeping. Wow. She's become a cuddle buddy of mine. So, um, anyhow, the stuff that goes down is it's ridiculous. And I'll tell you this much: the mass shootings are because of the type of weapons that are available to the public. Okay, that semi-automatic weapons and whatnot, massive magazines. That's all there. Back when I was in school, you stole daddy's shotgun or you stole daddy's BB gun. My father had a pellet gun for shooting rats. I don't know why. We didn't know, living in an apartment, but he would shoot the rats outside the window. Pistol, pellet pistol, air, compressed air. You had to pump it up you know, but that just wore itself out. But I mean, he never shot anybody as far as I know. I never did either. Got shot at a couple times hunting. Had police pull a gun on me one time for no friggin' reason at all. I uh, I just don't know what to tell you. This is, but you take away the high capacity rounds and everything. And kids will build the guns. I mean, kids built what they called zip guns back in the day when I was in high school. You saw stories in New York City. Kids shot in the eye with a zip gun. Big little 22 caliber pistols that they made themselves using rubber bands and nails and stuff like that. Were they safe? No. Were they easy to make? Yes. Kids want guns, they make guns. They borrow daddy's shotgun. Uh, but this is what they do today. What you can do with, you can go out and buy a gun today for, well, they say $700, $800. High capacity Glocks and whatnot. You got Glocks that'll hold 16 rounds. Okay. I guess that's what they use when this guy. I remember the story about this immigrant that got shot in the doorway by a bunch of cops, shot 61 times. Yeah, you got to reload. I don't care what kind of gun you have, unless you've got a high capacity machine gun or something like that, you're going to have to reload. And it was just stupid. I don't think that they didn't make high capacity magazines back in that day. I don't think not even for police when that happened. That was just stupid, and that's what they call a mob reaction or something like that. When once the gun is fired, everybody starts shooting. They don't know who's shooting at who because they're not concentrating on other people. They're only concentrating on what's in front of them. And as soon as you hear gunfire, it's all over. If one cop shot, then they all shot. And I don't think the guy didn't even have a gun. He's reaching for his wallet or something like that. These are all horrible stories. And it boils down to that people shouldn't own guns. Not even a cop should be allowed to hold guns because they just don't know how to respect them. They don't know how to use them. Now, people are going to get pissed off at me. I don't care. I know more about guns than the average person listening to me does right now. All right. I could take most guns apart and put them back together again. All right. I have a favorite weapon, an M14. Okay, only because of the distance it can shoot at accurately. I wasn't into seeing who I was shooting at. I didn't want to see the outline of their face. I just wanted to kill them. We're talking war now. We're not talking fucking, city street stuff. Um, only weapon I used to carry was a knife. I still do occasionally because I know how to use it, and the average person doesn't know how to use it. Okay, I'm not going to pull a knife on an unarmed person. It's just simply a matter of self-defense. There's an FBI statistic I think it's the 25-foot rule. If you and another man are standing within 25 feet of each other, and he has a gun and you have a knife, or he has a knife and you have a gun, he has the advantage. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the statistic they gave you. So, I like guns. I just don't think that, some people should have them. I don't think I should have one. I have a bad temper, at times, or I used to. I don't know whether I still do or not. My wife will probably say I do. But it's brought on by frustration. And you can't believe how upset I've been this weekend watching all this bad shit happen in this Christmas weekend. Not Christmas weekend, but it's 2 weeks before Christmas. That doesn't make any sense. Trump's bringing about this anti-Semitism stuff. He's bringing back the hatred of Jews. And there's no reason to hate Jews. Catholics will tell you, well, they killed Jesus Christ. Nah, he was going to die anyhow. He was there if you read the story correctly, he was put on this earth to be a martyr. He was going to die one way or the other. The Jews didn't kill him. And he wasn't white. He was of Arab descent. You know? Nobody anywhere has ever seen God and can tell me God was white, black, brown, purple, whatever. God's not a color. God's a thought. See, I believe in God. I just don't believe in religions that teach you he was white and he was right. He was like anybody else and could be wrong. That's just bullshit that goes on. So, I mean, football was boring. My TV set froze during one of the games. So that's another added to my discomfort this weekend. The game that I did have to watch then, it was boring, and I'm watching it in Spanish, or from some Mexican station. And I got to tell you, they don't know jack shit about football. How to broadcast the game. They're getting better, but they don't pay attention because I don't think they watch the games live. I think they're they watch them from the studio on television. I think that's how they call the game. I knew a guy. I can't remember his name now. For CBS, they were the number one team back in the day, way back in the day, way back in the day. They watched the game on television, and he watched the game on TV with binoculars. That's how bad his eyes were. At least they said he used binoculars. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I do know his glasses were oh, about that thick. You know, nice guy. Knew the game of football better than anybody else that's doing it today. Predicted the plays and everything. I want to know why they stand in the huddle for like 10, 15 seconds, and you can see this guy, he's reading off his arms all the different plays and everything. He said, "Listen, dude, you the number, give him the whole number. It's off tackle right, left, off tackle right, off tackle, center, left, right of the center. That's all you got to call it. Running play, pass plays. You go long, you run a hook. It's pass play should be zones anyhow. If the defense is going to cover you in zones, then you should be able to run a pass play in a zone. I'll be in the fifth quadrant or something like that. Look for me there. Look for me along the goal line. Don't say, you have to be here, here or there. Make the quarterback work a little bit. People are getting hurt a lot in football lately. They keep coming up with these new things. It's a violent game. You don't want the violence in it. Get rid of it altogether. All right. That's why people watch it, because it's a violent game. Oh, and you sit there and you say, "Oh no, that isn't why they watch it. They like to watch the technology." Women like to watch it because they like to watch the asses and the tight pants the guys are wearing. I don't know whether that's true or not. Um, I don't think my mother watched it because my brother played football, and she learned to like the game, you know. And he would help her along with the explaining. She understood the game, you know. I don't think she wanted to, but she did. That's just the way things go. You understand. Oh, look at the! How can you sleep like that? What is that tuck position? I'll give her a 6 on that one. All right, listen up. I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm so depressed. I'm just bummed out. It's really horrible. You can go into, you can discuss mass shootings for days. Never come up with the right answer. It's like punishment. The death penalty. You can never come up with an answer that satisfies everybody. I think mine's the right answer. I think you have to understand that death penalty isn't a. If you ask the families of these people that are the victims, if the death penalty isn't suitable punishment, all right, for these crimes. But when you're sitting there, in a courtroom, oh man, I don't want to kill the guy. Hell, it costs a couple $1,000 to kill him. It costs it costs as much as $1 million to keep the son of a bitch alive for a life sentence. I'm not paying for his medical care and shit. All right, folks. That's it. I got to cut it short. I got to go vacuum and do some things. All right. So, everybody have a great day. And I will see you tomorrow. Oh, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. Okay. Have a good day.